In the quiet town of Stonehaven, where shadows linger longer than they should, there stands a shop that time forgot. Its weathered sign, barely legible, reads, Alistair's Antiques. But it's not the dusty relics in the window that draw the eye. It's the mirrors, dozens of them, each reflecting a world that seems just slightly off. Elara didn't come to Stonehaven looking for stories. As an investigative journalist, she'd followed leads to stranger places. But something about this town, with its fog-shrouded streets and whispered legends, called to her. And now, standing before the grimy storefront of Alistair's Antiques, she felt a chill that had nothing to do with the autumn air. The bell above the door chimed discordantly as Elara stepped inside. The scent of old books and something metallic, copper perhaps, filled her nostrils. Mirrors of every shape and size lined the walls, their surfaces clouded with age. Some were cracked, others whole, but all seemed to hold secrets in their depths. "Welcome, Seeker," a voice rasped from the shadows. Mr. Alistair emerged, his eyes glinting in the dim light. "What reflection do you hope to find?" Elara's journalistic instincts prickled. There was a story here, buried beneath layers of dust and time. "I'm curious about your mirrors," she said, her voice steady, despite the unease creeping along her spine. "They seem different." Mr. Alistair's thin lips curved into a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Perceptive, aren't you? These aren't ordinary mirrors, my dear. They hold memories, the final, most potent emotions of those who gazed into them as they drew their last breath." The air in the shop seemed to grow thicker, heavier with each word. Elara's heart raced, but she pressed on. How is that possible? Magic, science, the desperation of a dying soul. Does it matter? Mr. Alistair's fingers traced the frame of a nearby mirror. What matters is the price. To witness these memories, to feel what they felt in their final moments, you must offer something in return, a memory of your own. Elara's mind reeled. The rational part of her screamed that this was impossible, a trick, a scam, but the journalist in her, the part that hungered for truth, no matter how strange, urged her forward. "Show me," she whispered. Mr. Alistair guided her to a small oval mirror with a tarnished silver frame. "Place your hand upon the glass," he instructed, "and remember, once seen, it cannot be unseen." Elara hesitated for a moment, then pressed her palm against the cool surface. The world tilted, blurred, and suddenly she was somewhere else, a hospital room, the air thick with antiseptic and despair. A nurse, her face etched with exhaustion and grief, performed CPR on a small, lifeless form. The child's eyes stared blankly at the ceiling, reflecting the harsh fluorescent lights. The nurse's movements grew frantic, then slowed, and finally stopped. As she looked into the mirror on the wall, her eyes filled with tears and a crushing sense of failure. Gasping, Elara pulled her hand away. The antique shop swam back into focus, but something was missing. A childhood memory, once vivid, now blurred at the edges. "The price is paid," Mr. Alistair murmured. "Shall we continue?" Despite the loss, or perhaps because of it, Elara nodded. The next mirror showed her a soldier, his uniform caked with mud and blood, recording a final message for his family. His eyes, reflected in the screen of his phone, held a mixture of love and regret as he whispered goodbye. Another mirror revealed a child lost in a dark forest, calling for parents who would never answer. The terror in the child's eyes as they gazed at their reflection in a still pond was almost unbearable. With each vision, Elara felt pieces of herself slipping away. Birthdays, first kisses, cherished moments with loved ones, all fading like mist in the morning sun. But in their place, a vast tapestry of human experience unfurled. She felt the weight of centuries, of countless lives touched by joy and sorrow, triumph and tragedy. At last, Mr. Alistair led her to a mirror unlike any other. Its frame was blackened with age, the glass so dark it seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "This," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, "is the oldest mirror in my collection. 200 years of memories, all connected through a chain of sorrow and loss." Elara's hand trembled as she reached out. The moment her fingers touched the glass, she was swept away in a torrent of images and emotions. Lives flashed before her eyes. A Victorian lady mourning her lost love, a child laborer taking his final breath in a coal mine, a plague victim watching his family succumb one by one. On and on it went, a river of pain and resilience flowing through the centuries. When Elara finally tore herself away, she found her cheeks wet with tears she didn't remember shedding. Her mind felt both emptier and fuller than it had ever been. The memories of her own life were little more than wisps now, but in their place was a vast, aching knowledge of humanity's struggles and triumphs. "What have I done?" she whispered, her voice hoarse. Mr. Alistair's expression was almost pitying. "You've gained wisdom beyond measure, my dear, but at what cost?" Elara's gaze darted from mirror to mirror, each one now holding a piece of her former self. "Is there no way to undo this? To reclaim what I've lost?" The old man's eyes glittered in the dim light. "There is one way." He gestured to a mirror she hadn't noticed before, its surface perfectly blank. "This mirror can preserve the memories you choose, keeping them safe for eternity. But it requires a guardian, someone to watch over the shop, to guide new seekers as I have guided you." The implication hung heavy in the air. Elara knew she should refuse, should run from this place and never look back. But the thought of losing those last precious fragments of herself was unbearable. And beneath that fear was something else, a hunger for more knowledge, more experiences, no matter the price. "I'll do it," she heard herself say, as if from a great distance. Mr. Alistair nodded, unsurprised. "Then take your place, Keeper of Memories. Your journey has only just begun." As Elara moved behind the counter, she felt a change come over her. Her posture straightened, her eyes grew sharper. She was no longer just Elara, the journalist. She was the guardian of countless lives, the keeper of humanity's deepest secrets. The bell above the door chimed, and a young man entered, his eyes wide with curiosity. Elara smiled, feeling the weight of centuries behind her words as she spoke. "Welcome, seeker. What reflection do you hope to find?" In that moment, as the cycle began anew, Elara understood the true nature of the curse she had inherited. It wasn't just about losing one's own memories. It was about becoming a vessel for the collective pain and wisdom of generations. And as she gazed into the eyes of her first victim, she knew that this burden would be passed on, again and again, until the end of time. The mirrors of Alistair's antiques continued to gleam in the dim light, each one holding untold stories, waiting for the next curious soul to pay the price of forbidden knowledge. And in the silence between heartbeats, one could almost hear the whispers of countless lives, their final moments frozen in silver and glass, a testament to the fragility of memory and the enduring power of human experience.